So before we begin reviewing the only first round playoff game that happened tonight between the LA Galaxy and the Colorado Rapids, we had some very tragic news that happened today in Philadelphia as it was announced that former first round pick and also the starting goalkeeper for Union to Holden Trent has sadly passed away. And apparently, from what we heard, that he was in the ICU a couple of days ago. We have no idea why that, of course, is the case. And today it was officially announced that he has passed away. And, the cause of death is still unknown. They've already mentioned that they're not going to release that just because of the respect of privacy in terms of the family. But yeah, just a very, very tragic death. He was only 25 years old as well. And certainly my thoughts and prayers, certainly to his family and also the union organization as well. You just hate to see this kind of happen, especially when a player is that young. But that being said, let us actually now talk about the only game that happened tonight in the first round matchup. And as I said, I hated the fact that tonight we only have one game that happened. Like on a Saturday night, and especially this game not happening until 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. So for most of the East Coaster, they probably are already fall asleep. And I maybe think that the only reason why MLS decided to schedule this late is because of the World Series. They want to avoid the conflict from the World Series, which it's understandable, but again, just for attendance wise, I feel like it could have been better if they were able to schedule more games or even just schedule it before the World Series. Like you could have an afternoon game that happened before the World Series happen, and that would still be perfectly fine instead of just the one game that we had. And because now that we only have one game, that means now we're gonna have more games tomorrow on Sunday, which there's gonna be two, and then there's gonna be more on Monday and Tuesday as well. But with that being said, in terms of this game itself, well, yeah, this was ugly. I mean, this was as one-sided of a playoff match as we have ever seen. And if you thought that the game between the Whitecaps and the Timbers were one-sided, this one took it to the next level. And I understand that yes, it is game one, and that we will never know what happened in game two, and that the only good news for the Rapids is that this is only one game, and that they still have a chance to potentially fight back when they're playing at home and maybe even get a chance to force a game free as a result of that. But really, after this result, I mean, unless if they do a complete 180 and that if Chris Armas somehow have anything left in terms of showing the resiliency of this team, I mean, this team look like they don't belong in the playoffs. And injuries, of course, have really hurt this team as well. But I argue, even with injuries, I don't think this team would have had any chance against a Galaxy team that, yeah, it's safe to say that they took it personally in this game against the Rapids after losing out on that first place spot on the final day of the season. Now, early on, I thought the Rapids actually had most of the possession, but this seems like it just plays right into the hands of the Galaxy. I mean, you just don't want to have possession when you're playing against the Galaxy because they know how to hit you on the counter attack. They're probably the most dangerous team when it comes to the transition. And yeah, like I said early on, it definitely played in the hands of the Galaxy, and they kind of showed those transitional moment early on with Peck having the game's first shot, but he hits the side netting and he puts it wide as the flag went up in the 8th minute, so it wouldn't count it if the ball went into the back of the net. But there was no doubt the Galaxy was feeling it early on transition, and unless if the Rapids can contain that transitional attack for the Galaxy, it might be a long night for the Rapids. Spoiler alert, yeah, they didn't do a good job containing the those transition, and also pretty much their defense were non-existent in this game as well. Painto then puts it wide from long range as the Galaxy started to dominate possession. The Rapids were sitting back and trying not to allow the Galaxy to break. In fact, the possession was 71-29 for the Galaxy up to that point. But then in the 32nd minute, the Galaxy takes the lead. It's Joveljic that scores the goal from Puig to give the Galaxy a 1-0 lead. What's kind of interesting is that Joveljic was very quiet up to that point, and that goal came off of a set piece as well. I mean, yeah, not great defending there from the Rapids in terms of the set pieces, but in the balance of play, the Galaxy deserved a 1-0 lead up to that point. They continue to dominate possession and dictate the match. Peck try to get on the score sheet again, but he puts it wide from long range. But we do head to halftime with the Galaxy leading 1-0, and again, it was just one-way traffic for most part of the first half. That would continue into the second half as well. As in the second half, Jovic looked for his second, but he hits it right to Stefan, and then Stefan denied Pooch from close in the 47th minute. Galaxy was pretty much picked up where they left off. They were pressing to try to get that second goal, and they do. As in the 52nd minute, John Nelson, a guy that has scored a lot of goal in his career. In fact, I think this is his first goal for the Galaxy ever since he joined this team not long ago. But he scored here from Yamane to give the Galaxy a 2-0 lead. Very rare you see a situation where two fullbacks combine on the goal scoring and assist chart, but that's just kind of how this night went for the Galaxy. Everything was clicking for them in this game. And then just 2 minutes later, they blow it open. As Ricky Pooch would join the goal scoring party, he scored from Jovic to make it 3-0 in favor of the Galaxy, and I thought this could get really ugly for the Rapids because the Galaxy, as I said, they were hitting on all cylinder. They're not afraid to put a crooked number, and they were definitely not showing mercy to the Rapids up to this point. 60 minutes in, by the way, the Rapids have yet to register a shot. That just also shows you how nothing was going right for the Rapids. The defense were falling apart, and on the attack, yes, again, I know the loss of Georgi Mihailovic really devastated in terms of so unable to create chances for this team. But we seen before that in the middle of the season when they did not have Mihailovic because of him going to the Olympics. This team can still create some chances with their backup brigade, and their backup brigade was kind of a no show throughout this game as well. We then had some coming together between both of these teams. Again, that's expected because when the score line is that big of a blowout and it's kind of one sided. The other team has started getting frustrated, and I think the Rapids was trying to get under the Galaxy skin. Peck then was in on goal there, but he puts this wide after a lightning counter attack for the Galaxy. By the way, I don't think Peck actually got on the score sheet. Very unlucky not to get on the score sheet in this one. He was very good in this game. But that being said, in the 72nd minute, Stefan denied Peck, but on the follow up, Pooch had an empty net to shoot, but unfortunately he smacked the post, and it actually hits off of Stefan back. We've seen it so many times when the ball hits the post and hits off the goalkeeper back. It's unfortunately deflected into to the goal, and that's probably one of the most unluckiest own goal a goalkeeper can score. But here, fortunate for Stefan, it bounced off his back and onto the roof of the net. I mean, that was kind of the only good thing that happened to the Rapids. The only lucky thing that they had because again the route was going to be on as the Galaxy was just showing no mercy. They smelled blood for a fourth goal and they got it in the 75th minute as Jovic would score his second goal to make it 4-0 in favor of the Galaxy. Ronan did look to answer, but he puts it over from long range. If you cannot believe it, that was the first shot of the game for the Rapids, and that would also be the only shot that the Rapids would get in this game. So at least the Rapids avoid doing something that we have only seen it once in the playoffs, I believe, where a team failed to register a single shot throughout the full 90 minutes. And what's kind of interesting is that team that did it, which was not long ago too, a couple of years ago. Remember when RSL pretty much went the full game without registering a shot? They actually went 120 minutes without registering a shot and winning the PK shootout, and that was kind of the David Ochoa game as well, making some big save and playing the villain in that game. Well, at least the Rapids, of course, avoid that embarrassing moment because I thought for sure that the Rapids were not going to register a shot and they might become the second team in playoff history to fail to register a single shot for the whole game. Painso with that then in on goal and he was trying to dink it over Stefan, but he puts that one wide. But then just 5 minutes later, Ricky Pooch would make it 5-0. He scored from Peck to make it 5-0 for the Galaxy. Again, up to this point, you can clearly see the defense for the Rapids. It has checked out. I mean, if it hasn't been checked out up to that point, it clearly has checked out. I mean, there were a bunch of guys that seems like they were just walking when the Galaxy were passing it, zipping through their passes. It's almost like the Rapids didn't care anymore up to this point. And then as they announced stoppage time, there was actually 5 minutes of added time. Now, back when we saw that playing game between the Timbers and the Whitecaps, which actually ended the same scoreline as this, and it's quite crazy the fact that in this playoff so far we have already seen two games that had 5-0 scoreline. That game didn't feature any stoppage time, and in this game, it didn't look like there was a lot of injuries. Where I'm like thinking, how in the world is there 5 minutes? That feels like cruel and unjustified punishment for the Rapids up to this point. But the Galaxy did try to make it six, trying to well, actually not tie the record, but actually owns the record for the biggest win any MLS team has had in the playoffs, and tying New England in 2001, I believe, when they won 6-1 against the Fire with the most goal scorer in the playoffs. Brugman would puts it over from long range, and then Painter was in on goal again, but this time Stefan was able to deny him. Yeah, Painter just had no luck in front of goal. Same with Gabriel Pack, but it didn't matter because in the end, I mean, it doesn't get more one-sided than this. I believe this was even more one-sided than what we saw between the Timbers and the Whitecaps, because at least the Timbers kind of offer some resistance at times to create chances. The Rapids, I mean, they pretty much just from minute one, it seems like they just lie down and not show up whatsoever in this game. Shots in this one, 20 shots compared to 1 that the Rapids had. No shots on goal compared to 11 that the Galaxy had. 6 shots off target compared to 1 that the Rapids had. No shots that was blocked for the 2 that the Galaxy had. And possession-wise, 64% possession compared to 36% possession the Rapids has in this game. And like I said, the only good news coming out of this game for the Rapids is that this is only one game. They still have a chance to see if they can pull off a Uno reverse moment against the Galaxy at home, but honestly, it's going to be hard to do so. I mean, again, this Galaxy team, they are clearly angry after what happened on decision day, and as I mentioned before, in the short term, this is actually a good thing for the Galaxy because they're facing against a Rapids team that just kind of limped their way into the playoffs, and also just a team that is injured to hell, and losing their key contributor on the attack is almost like a deficit for this team to really do anything in the playoffs. But we shall see. I mean, funny things that has happened in the this playoff so far, but I think this is really the first real game where I can say that yeah, we kind of expected that this was going to be the case, and that if this is going to be the case again in Colorado, this could be a very short series, and it could be a very dominant series for the Galaxy to easily cruise their way into the second round of the playoffs. There we have it. That is pretty much it for the review of this game. And like I said, I hate the fact that this is the only game. There's going to be two more tomorrow as well, which again they probably should have had a couple of more, because I think the World Series is not happening tomorrow. They just played the 2 games in LA. Usually when that happened, the third game gets shifted to the opposing team side. So why not use Sunday as a way to have a chance to put more playoff games? I mean, the only thing I can also say why they probably didn't do it is because they're also competing for the NFL itself. But then again, if that's the case, then why didn't you just have it on Saturday? As well. I mean, the only thing you're competing really is college football and maybe some of those late European soccer window. I mean, again, just the scheduling this year with the playoffs. A lot of people have said that it's poorly scheduled. I don't blame them. I mean, I just don't like the way that they schedule it, and the way that they're kind of spreading things out whatsoever. It just does not help the attendance, especially once we get into those two Monday and Tuesday game, and it especially don't help in terms of the rating, as they think that was going to be something that will help them to boost the playoffs this season. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.